Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Four College Football Podcast. Let's start out with the most important topic of the day. Ryan Day plucks Oklahoma State offensive coordinator and lands Justin Fields. What does this say about the program that Ryan Day is building at Ohio State?
He hasn't really coached the full season yet, but it's a good start, and I think he's inheriting a really good legacy, so he's already got to step up on everybody.
Fields is good. Ohio State has no competition. This means nothing. It's not going to matter anyways. What it means is he's already better than Jim Harbaugh. He's already done more at Ohio State in his tenure than Jim Harbaugh has done at Michigan. He has the same amount as championships as a head coach as Jim Harbaugh, 0. He has the same amount of Big Ten championships as a head coach as Jim Harbaugh, and he's already got a better recruit than Jim Harbaugh. So basically, he's already better than Jim Harbaugh. How do you feel that Jim Harbaugh has more NFC championships than Ryan Day? That's not true. Ryan Day has 2. He was on the staff with Jim Harbaugh, and he was on the Eagles staff. All right, well, he has more than Urban Meyer, so therefore Harbaugh is a better coach than Meyer. He also has more Super Bowl losses. That's true.
Well, this just proves that Ryan Day is the best coach in America. What he's already been done. I mean, Nick Saban hasn't done this. When Nick Saban first got to Alabama, did he get the number 1 recruit to transfer in? No, I didn't see him do that, did he? And he got this offensive coordinator guy. He'll be a good fit. Ohio State is not going to win the Big Ten next year, though, in his first year. But he is the best coach in the country, so. And he's daddy, and we can't talk bad about daddy, especially when he first came in.
Undefeated in his head coaching career.
That is true. All right, let's move on. Congratulations to Alex. He won the picks. He has a 2-game lead over Luke, which means he won. So congratulations to him. He wins nothing. Chris had a big week. He's now only 24 games back. So a good way to end the year for Chris.
That's right. It was a dominant week for me.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
I'm going to win the basketball pick. So.
Yeah, well, throwback to when Chris had like 1 pick right a couple weeks ago. So, let's move on. Urban Meyer rides off into the sunset as Ohio State defeats Washington 28-23. Reactions and thoughts on the game and Urban Meyer?
Great coach, terrible person, but I think it's good that he went off with a win, and they definitely were better than Washington, so I don't even think they should have been in the Rose Bowl, but since they won the Pac-12, they kind of had to put them in there.
Washington sucks. I've been saying it all year.
Ridiculous.
Ohio State is very good. If you look at it now, if they're going to make a new playoff, Ohio State would be in. But that's in the past.
It was really a 5-point game. It wasn't a blowout.
Well, there were a lot of garbage points. They were 28-3.
It's true.
Ohio State's a better team. I take nothing out of this game. Good win for Urban Meyer, and he's gone now. So it's a sad day for Ohio State football, losing one of the greatest coaches they've ever seen. Arguably, not even arguably, the greatest coach they've ever seen up to this point. But a bright day for the future of Ohio State football now with Ryan Day coming in, the greatest coach already in the Big Ten, never lost a game, and we're excited. Actually, that's ridiculous. The best coach in the Big Ten is Lovie Smith.
That is ridiculous. Washington's a good team. They're actually an identical clone of Michigan State in about every facet. One of the dominant defenses. They suck on offense.
How about the fact that they finished 9th ranked in the country and you finished 7 and 6?
Well, if we played in the Pac-12, we would have been 9-3 too. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you would have.
Yep. Listen, Washington's a really good football team. Ohio State, that's a really good win right there against a really good coach. Chris Peterson's a top 3 coach in America right now.
Not a good coach. Not a good coach.
Great coach. Washington was nothing before he got there. A little like Harbaugh, but at least he's made it to the playoff, and Harbaugh hasn't, so he's already 10 times better.
If Ohio State lost, then Auburn would have been better than Ohio State, so it was a good thing that Ohio State won.
Yeah, well, Auburn's a bad football team, so we can't really talk about that.
About Auburn. Are we talking about Auburn in this game? Are we talking about Stidham? What he did?
Stidham was awful as usual in the.
Are we going to talk about that?
We'll see. Anyways,
we better get to that.
Anyways, Urban Meyer has been daddy for a long time, but just remember, Urban, that the only times that Ohio State didn't win the Big Ten under him was when Michigan State won the Big Ten, and that one year Penn State won the Big Ten. But that was BS.
I'd also like to point out that Urban Meyer might have the greatest coaching tree of all time.
Why, with Ryan Day?
Steve Adazio, Gary Anderson. Greg Brandon, Ryan Day, DJ Durkin, Tom Herman, Doc Holliday, who's at Marshall.
Kyle Whittingham.
Who's at Bowling Green. Dan Mullen. Mike Sanford, who's at Indiana. Oh, actually, he's not at Indiana State anymore. Kyle Whittingham. Mike Vrabel. Charlie Strong. And Greg Schiano. Might be the greatest coach in
Okay, Greg Schiano, that's a stretch.
The only good coach on there was Dan Mullen.
What about Kyle Whittingham?
No.
He's the best coach on there.
No, Dan Mullen's the second best coach in the country.
That's ridiculous. He sucks.
Oh, really?
He sucks.
That's why he got a job in Florida after being in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's why he lost to Missouri. Yeah, of course. At home.
Nasty. You want me to start going on Missouri?
Oh, yeah, that's why 6-6 Oklahoma State handled them pretty easily.
Well, conversation's a good team. I'll go off about Missouri if you want me to. Missouri's nasty.
Yeah, well, we'll wait a little bit later on for that.
I'll have a hot take about Missouri later.
Oh.
All right, well, here's a trivia question for you. All right. Can you name the 3 coaches who have won major college football national championships at multiple universities?
Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, Tubby Smith.
One more. Nope. Pop Warner.
Who?
Pop Warner.
Who the heck is that?
Pop Warner football named after him.
Oh.
See, this is Les Miles is soon to be added to this list when he wins at Kansas. His kid is probably the coach at Michigan State. What's his name? Steve.
Wait, so what if the North Dakota State guy who goes to Kansas State wins the national championship? Does that mean he's won it at multiple universities?
I don't know.
Absolutely. What has he got? 5?
To college football.
Actually, the Kansas State coach is the greatest coach of all time. He's got 5 national championships. So.
No. Larry Karen.
Okay. Let's move on from this. Michigan embarrassed by
Larry Karen has 11 national championships.
Well, we don't talk about Mount Union. We don't talk about D2, D3, where the heck they are. Michigan embarrassed by Florida. Harbaugh's now 1-9 versus top 10 teams, and he's 1-3 in bowl games. What is your reaction to Michigan's embarrassing loss?
Fire Harbaugh! I've had enough. I've been saying it for the last 2 years. I've had enough. 1-9 against top 10 teams. Just embarrassing.
How do you go 1-9 against top 10 teams? How? I don't think Lovie Smith will do that.
This one win was against crappy Wisconsin. So it doesn't matter. The bowl games, I'm not too concerned about. I don't really care about the bowl games so much as the rest of the season. The bowl games.
Oh yeah, let's just throw out the bowl games. Yeah.
The bowl game was the last straw for me. The bowl game was embarrassing. You got to give Florida some credit. Florida's a good team, well coached. But, just the entire, that really shows how we played the entire season in big games, especially in the Ohio State game. In the Notre Dame game, the only 2 fantastic games that were on the schedule We lost to all three of the great teams that are on the schedule. And not surprising because Jim Harbaugh is the single worst coach in college football and needs to be fired immediately.
Okay.
Okay, Michigan was dumb to hire Jim Harbaugh in the first place. Yeah. Now it's impossible to fire him because he is family. He is Michigan blood. He went there. He was a great quarterback there. They can't fire him. It makes him look bad. It makes Jim Harbaugh look bad. It hurts his legacy. He's stuck there until he retires. No.
He's basically the AD there. He runs the show. Nobody's gonna fire him. Ever.
You know what the difference is between Jim Harbaugh and John Beilein? Is that John Beilein adapts to his players. Jim Harbaugh runs a 1950s offense. And by the way, people are complaining about the offense, and fine, the offense is not great, but the offense has not been the problem in the big games. It's been our fake defense.
Yeah, well, why do Michigan fans talk about the offense then? Why do they always blame the offense?
We scored 39 against Ohio State. The offense didn't really play great against Florida, but 41 points, they're not going to score that many points. Our fake defense, that's the reason we lose these big games.
Maybe Winovich should shut his trap and not talk so much about this fake, whatever tour he had, revenge tour that was fake. You know what a revenge tour leads to? It leads to championships. It doesn't lead to bowl losses. He's an embarrassment, and he should shut the hell up and apologize for being such an idiot. I freaking hate him.
I don't hate him, but I agree with
Well,
that.
guess what? Willikis doesn't talk, and Willikis had double the amount of sacks he had this year.
You know what really makes me mad? All these Michigan fans, oh no, Don Brown is interviewing with other schools. Who cares? Let him go. We suck. Awful. His defense never shows up in big games.
Well, that's because Don.
Coaching staff, they need to disband the program.
That's because Don Brown runs the same offense every week, or the same defense. He never changes.
Right, he does. They need to disband the program to think about what they need to fix that. Come back strong. Did you just say disband the program?
Give Michigan the death penalty.
No, they do not have to disband the program, but they need to fire the entire coaching staff, and they need to go into rebuild mode.
Chris, what don't you understand? Jim Harbaugh is the AD at Michigan. He is basically the AD. He can do whatever the heck he wants to do.
Because John Beilein is 200 times the coach he is.
He could, if he wanted Beilein out, he could absolutely do it if he wanted to.
No, he cannot.
Yes, he could. Because guess what brings in...
Everybody thinks Beilein's a better coach.
Well, guess what? Since Jim Harbaugh came to Michigan, they've been raking in the dollars. Way more than Hoke has. He brings in the revenue. Beilein's a great coach, but he doesn't bring in the revenue. Jim Harbaugh brings in the revenue.
Michigan fans, Michigan is a basketball school until Jim Harbaugh gets fired.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's just a fact. Just a fact.
It's not. How many key guys were they missing in that bowl game?
Who cares? No excuses.
No, they were never really meant to in that game. They never really wanted to be there. So I took nothing of that.
That's okay. The bowl game, I think, was just the last straw. It wasn't so much. They did have a lot of guys out.
Oh, yeah, let's make excuses, because I can't make excuses when Michigan State's entire offense is hurt for the season.
You know what's really making me even more mad is people blaming Shea Patterson. I see all these people on social media. Oh, next year, I can't wait for Dylan McCaffrey or Joe Milton to be our quarterback because Shea Patterson is awful.
He is.
Really?
He's the most average quarterback in America.
Second best quarterback in the conference.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd. That is ridiculous. That is absurd.
Only behind Dwayne Haskins. He was the second best in the conference. And, he showed up. He played well against Ohio State. He played well against Michigan State, the two rivals. He was fine.
He's awful. He's terrible.
They haven't seen. Let his team back. I'm sick of it.
Guess what?
My quarterback. Jim Harbaugh.
Guess what? I'll take John O'Corn over him. Give me John O'Corn, because at least John O'Corn shows emotion. This guy just goes out here and freaking throws picks left and right, gets wide open receivers.
Earlier, a game manager. He doesn't throw interceptions.
Yeah, he's a game manager. That's the problem. He's a game manager. He's nothing more, nothing less.
For being a quarterback himself, Jim Harbaugh cannot recruit quarterbacks. Every single year they have a quarterback problem. Who's going to be the quarterback? Oh, we're getting a new quarterback. New quarterback. We're getting a new quarterback for the last 4 years under Jim Harbaugh. Here's the thing. Jake Rudock was under Jim Harbaugh, but he was a Hoke recruit, of course. And
He was not a Hoke recruit.
Yep, Hoke recruit.
He was a transfer. He was
He was transferring because he thought Hoke was going to be the coach.
Oh, bullshit.
And, you know...
He transferred because Jake Beathard got the job and not him.
You look at Patterson, and Patterson had a great year.
That's really... How could you say that?
He had a great year.
He threw for about 110 yards a game, and his running game did everything.
That's all that matters.
I would have done better than him. All I do is hand the ball off.
When you throw 22 dimes, there's nothing you control. You got Pep Hamilton up in the booth. They run on first, second, and third down.
He's like A.J. McCarron as a freshman. He hands it off about 100 times a game, and maybe has one play action. That's about all he does. Well, my quarterback is playing through a torn labrum just to help the team win. Unbelievable.
Okay. It's not his fault that Pep Hamilton sits up in the booth and calls a run every single play.
Well, you can't tell me. Even if they gave him 40 times to throw the ball a game, he'd probably suck. They probably don't trust him. That's why.
Ridiculous.
They don't trust him. That's why.
You saw what he did at Ole Miss. He was nasty.
Oh, yep. 66-3 loss. 66-3 loss to Bama. He did great.
He could be doing that at Michigan, but Jim Harbaugh wants to run the same 19 Grizzlies offense. And that's the second worst problem. Our fourth problem is our big defense. The culture needs to change. Fire the coaching staff. And let's go.
I was going to say, I don't want to hear the excuses about not wanting to be in the game. It's a New Year's Six game. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You just got embarrassed the last game you played. And wouldn't you want to go out there and prove something? I mean, come on. That's the stupidest excuse of all time.
I don't take a lot of the bowl game.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Our best cornerback was out, and what do we hold? What's his name to? Like 160 yards passing. I don't want to hear about excuses. I don't want to hear about them. There's no excuses to get embarrassed by a team that you're better than.
No excuse for your quarterback having a torn labrum. No excuses.
Well, at least he played through it. Patterson had a freaking... He might have a stubbed toe and wouldn't play, I bet.
Jay Patterson's a warrior. How dare you?
Oh, please.
Wait, Mike, didn't you say Lewerke was a game manager? Weren't you the one who said that?
No. I never said Lewerke's a game manager.
Yes, you did.
How can he be a game manager? He doesn't have a running game. What's he going to hand it off and get 0 yards? And be like...
manager by that.
No, he's a game manager on the sideline with the headset on when he's not playing.
That's a good one, actually.
We know he's not a game manager. I watched that Oregon game. That was by far the worst interception I've ever seen a quarterback throw in the history of football.
He didn't have. He was trying to throw it out of bounds, and he didn't have the arm strength to throw it out of bounds.
No, that's the worst. That's the worst interception I've ever seen. Just awful.
Yeah, well, he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds, and he didn't have the arm strength.
No excuses. No excuses.
I'm not making excuses. He was awful, but he did have a torn labrum. So, I mean...
No excuses!
Oh, give me a break.
You sit here and talk till midnight about this, or move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Michigan State loses to Oregon 7-6. Hold an offense that scores over 40 points a game to 7 points and still loses. What do you guys think about this?
Well,
Riveting game.
Oh yeah, riveting.
This is a great game to watch.
Really letting down the conference here, Michigan State was.
Oh, well, how about Michigan? Oh, not letting down the conference at all, huh?
No, they weren't. Michigan State really let down the conference here. And let's take a look at this. So Michigan State was up 6-0 heading to the fourth quarter. And
don't even get started. Even I don't believe this.
A couple times this year against Nebraska, against Michigan.
You made Felipe Franks look like Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to hear about this.
I haven't said anything yet. A couple of different games, different things happened in the fourth quarter with that defense. And, Michael, give me credit. They're the best third quarter defense I've seen in a while in college football. But, man, another choke in the fourth quarter for the Michigan State defense.
Just how stupid. You know how stupid you sound right now.
It's embarrassing. It really is. It happens every time.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait. And I believe that you do not get to harass Michigan fans about the punt that happened, or the lack of a punt that happened a few years ago, because Lewerke had trouble with the snap this time.
He did have trouble with the snap. But guess what? This is why, as you would say, this is a meaningless bowl game. Come on.
I did not say that. I've never said that.
It's a meaningless bowl game. Nobody cares. It's the Red Box Bowl. I haven't seen a Red Box machine in 5 years. Come on. It's not relevant at all.
Oregon's just not a good football team, and it's really an embarrassing loss for the conference especially. Really let the Big Ten down with this one.
Dude, that was painful to watch. That was...
Yeah, how does Red Box have enough money to sponsor a bowl game?
that was just bad. Just 7-6. I mean, I think we had the debate a couple weeks ago that who was the best defense in the Big Ten. I think that's been answered. But, dude, you can't score.
No, it's not been answered, actually. Iowa has the best defense.
Oh, yeah, Iowa, who let up 22 points to Mississippi State. Oh, yeah.
Mississippi State is a great offense. Iowa, easily the best defense. Iowa comes up clutch when it matters.
The 8-5 Iowa Hawkeyes really come up clutch. They came up clutch against Wisconsin when Hornibrook torched them in the fourth quarter. Really clutch.
Gotta give them credit.
How about against Penn State when they were awful in the fourth quarter? So, I mean, come on.
No. Iowa, clearly the best defense. Northwestern is second. Michigan State is third.
Okay, so you're telling me you're telling me that a defense that Hornibrook torched in the fourth quarter is better than Michigan State's defense?
Oh, he didn't torch them. He made one little lofty throw. Lucky
torched them. He torched them in the second half.
No, he did not.
Luke, what's your opinion on this great football game between two powerhouses, two rivals?
It absolutely sucks. It's the worst football game I've ever seen. No one wants to watch a bowl game that ends 7-6. It was honestly horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me deconstruct the Michigan State offense.
Both of these teams should be kicked out of the NCAA.
Oregon should be kicked out of the NCAA because they couldn't score over 10 points against us when they were averaging 40 a game, so they should be kicked out.
Well, they did score 7 in the fourth quarter because your defense choked.
Okay, then. Well, I'll get to the defense in just a second. Now, let me start with our high-powered offense. Offensive line, can't block at all. Haven't been able to block all season. Small up front, our center gets blown up on every play. Try to run it up the middle, stuff. No yards. LJ Scott ran pretty well in this game when he had running lanes. But guess what? In the second half, he had no running lanes, so that was good. Wide receivers?
How about that call by the genius Mark D'Antonio to go for it?
Yep, that may have cost us the game, but guess what? It's a bowl game. You're being aggressive. I don't care about that call. That doesn't mean much to me. And we should have won the game anyway. But wide receivers, we have no team speed at all. Our wide receivers are slow. Can't get separation. No size on the outside with Felton Davis out. Our tight ends can't block. They can't catch. They can't do anything. Our quarterback can't throw. Our backup quarterback doesn't belong in Division I college football. And our play calling is awful. What is the recipe for that? 6 points. We did outgain Oregon by over 150 yards, but it didn't matter because we couldn't convert. We had a chance to win at the end, but we couldn't. But we're still a very good football team, and we still are returning 9 starters from the most dominant defense in the Big Ten next year, so I think we're in a pretty good spot despite this loss.
Yeah, so you're picking a 7-6 team to go to the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, what are you picking? An 8-5 Missouri team? So
who's losing their best quarterback?
Oh, ridiculous.
Losing a
Kelly Bryant.
first-round quarterback.
Very nasty.
Dude, Drew Lock is so much better.
Wait, does Kelly Bryant have to get does he have to sit out a year? No, he doesn't. Does he?
No.
No,
Okay, I didn't think so.
Kelly Bryant.
All right, let's move on. Penn State falls to Kentucky. My gosh, what a terrible performance from Penn State in the bowl game. Kentucky is a terrible football team, and Penn State just embarrassed themselves on national television.
Can we get the clip of James Franklin saying they're not elite? Kentucky is elite. Kentucky is now an elite football program. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's an elite quarterback. Kentucky's an elite football program. They're blue blood. They're blue blood now. Kentucky's a blue blood football program. Remember, because all the blue bloods are blue colored. Kentucky's a blue blood now. Now, anybody thinks college football, NCAA Division I football, you'll think of Kentucky. You want to top 5 teams, you think of they're top 8 team this year. They're top 8 team this year.
No, they're not going to finish top 8. That's ridiculous.
They're going to be top 8 team in Cole. No, top 10. No, top 8.
You guys talk about embarrassing the conference. My God. That's horrible.
Exactly.
Hey, well,
That's one of the greatest teams of all time, Kentucky this year.
That is true.
Okay.
I mean, he was playing on a broken foot, but that was horrendous. He can't get 27 points.
How about a great call by James Franklin down the stretch to go for the field goal instead of going for it on fourth down and try to win the game? It's a bowl game. Try to win the game. Don't be a little wuss.
Absolutely embarrassing, Penn State. You got to be kidding me.
I told you when we picked this game, I'm not picking a choker.
Trace McSorley, the Warrior, went up there on 1 foot, almost brought his team back, and then this clown head coach.
Oh, come on. Oh, no. You're saying Trace McSorley went out on 1 foot when my quarterback went out and he couldn't even throw the ball.
That's different.
Oh, is it different now?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Kentucky is a terrible football team. Penn State also a terrible football team. Embarrassing loss.
Yeah, Penn State has been a fraud all season long. They were fraud against Michigan. They were fraud against Ohio State. They're fraud against Michigan State. And they were fraud against an average SEC team. And, of course, they lost. Because that's all James Franklin does is lose. Big games. He's like Harbaugh, only worse. Michigan fans are lucky they don't have him.
You need 4 losses. Can't have anything less, or else you're too good if you have 4 losses under. Or less than 4 losses.
James Franklin needs to be fired more than Jim Harbaugh does.
I don't know about that, but
He's a terror. He's a lousy football coach. He's a great recruiter, a lousy football coach. I don't care what anybody says. All the Penn State fans saying, "Oh, he took this program out of the depths of hell" or whatever. Guess what? There's high expectations, and he's not meeting those expectations.
correct.
Anybody else want to say something on this? All right, let's move on. Other Big Ten bowls. Iowa defeats Mississippi State. Auburn defeats Purdue.
Let's go!
Northwestern with a big comeback over Utah. Minnesota defeats Georgia Tech. The final game from the triple option offense for Georgia Tech, and it falters. And Wisconsin beats a Miami team that is just awful. What do you guys think about the other Big Ten bowls?
That doesn't mean anything. Except for the Auburn game. What a game by Jarrett Stidham. What a game. Oh, my goodness. What a game. He is obviously, his draft stock has just blown up in the air. He is a top 1 quarterback in the draft. Easily a top 1 quarterback. Just a great
Chris,
game.
let me just remind you, this was a Purdue defense that made Rocky Lombardi look like a freaking all-star.
I want to say about Jarrett Stidham. Unbelievable. Easily the best quarterback in the draft. 373, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers. What a game.
Yeah, Rocky Lombardi had the same stat line. Does that mean he's just as good as Rocky Lombardi?
Nope, he's better. Best quarterback in the draft. Should be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Jared Stidham. I just think it shows that year in, year out, the Big Ten dominates their bowl schedule, and year in and year out, they're disrespected because they beat up on each other in conference play, and it's absolute BS. It's BS. Oh. Big Ten champions like 5 automatically beat in the top 4 no matter what. Didn't they both go like 5-5?
Nope, the Big Ten had a better SEC or had a better bowl record than the SEC this year.
Was it 5-4 and 5-5? Wasn't it?
Nope, the Big Ten went 4-5, and the SEC went like 5-6 or something, or 4-5 or something. They had a better bowl record by the percentage wise than the SEC. All right, Iowa. I was shocked by Iowa's win. Mississippi State is turning into a choking school. They choke. Auburn over Purdue.
I won that game.
Auburn.
I won that game.
Yeah, Iowa.
Iowa's nasty.
That's because Mississippi State has a quarterback that can't throw. So, anyways, Auburn over Purdue. Whatever. That doesn't really mean much. Purdue has the worst defense in the Power 5, so doesn't mean much.
Big Ten was 5-4 in bowls this year.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what they were. Anyway, and they should have been like 7-2, but some other stuff happened. Northwestern, that was a surprise. They were down 20-3 and came back and won. Pat Fitzgerald's the second best coach in the Big Ten behind Ryan Day. Just a great coach. Minnesota, PJ Fleck has got that program rolling. They're winning the Big Ten West next year. And Wisconsin, not a shocker. They beat Miami. That's not really a shocker at all.
Miami had a good year. Just came up a little bit short.
Yep, just a 7-6 record. That's all. Yep, the best defense, the supposedly great Miami defense, led by Manny Diaz, and the turnover chain. He gave up over 200 yards rushing to Jonathan Taylor. So, for about the second straight year, Miami is the worst program in the state of Florida. It's not even close. I'll take UCF over them any day. I'll take USF over them. Take FAU over them. Take FIU over them.
UCF if they played. Oh, are we talking about that game? We better be talking about. Oh boy.
Maybe. Right, anything else to say about the Big Ten Bowls? All right, let's move on. Alabama defeats Oklahoma 45-34. What are your thoughts on this game?
I don't care.
I remember they must have rolled them back, but Oklahoma has absolutely zero defense. So
they all suck. The committee should be fired. Listen, Oklahoma. To me, they showed they deserve to be in the playoff in this game. No.
Be down 28-0.
They had a bad first quarter. That was it. They were down 28-0 in the first quarter.
That's like saying Washington should have been in the Rose Bowl because they were down 28-0.
Mount Union deserved to be in the top 4 more than Oklahoma and Notre Dame did. They outscored Alabama the rest of the game, and Alabama is by far the best team in the country. So Oklahoma proved they deserve to be in. Absolutely nothing. No surprise that Alabama won. UMaine outscored Rutgers in the first 10 seconds of the NCAA basketball game. That means nothing. Well, Maine is better than Rutgers, so I don't know what your point is.
Okay, then. Anybody gonna say anything or no?
No, I'm with Chris. I think they should have been in the playoff because they did have one bad quarter and they put up 34 on one of the best defenses in college football.
Oh, please. Please. Oklahoma did not deserve to be in the playoff.
You're telling me Ohio State would have beat them?
Ohio State would have beaten Alabama. Yes, they would have.
No.
Yes, they would have. Yes, they would have. They would have beaten Alabama because Urban Meyer owns Nick Saban. They would have. They would have beaten them easily. Probably the similar game to 2014, actually. You look at this game, Oklahoma just outmatched everywhere. Kyler Murray was awful. Dwayne Haskins would have been a lot better. The playoff should have been Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and throw in UCF. Might as well. I mean, none of these other teams deserve to be in here. Notre Dame had no business being in there.
Okay, all right. We need to talk about the UCF game because I need to rip out the new one here.
I think we'll get to that. I think I put that in the slideshow. I'm pretty sure. We'll see. Anyways, Oklahoma didn't deserve to be in there. But, I mean, they could have been number 4, I guess. And Ohio State should have been number 3. Notre Dame shouldn't even been in the top 10. They didn't deserve to be anywhere near. They shouldn't have been in a New Year's Six bowl. That's how pathetic their schedule was this year. They had no business being in a New Year's Six bowl. That's ridiculous.
Mike and I were saying before Notre Dame even lost that Notre Dame didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah, I'll get my take on Notre Dame when we get to that game because I definitely think it should have been there.
No.
Okay, let's move on to that game then. Clemson manhandles Notre Dame to advance to the national championship. What are your thoughts on this one?
All right, well, I'll start off with the fact that Clemson's a better team. There's no doubt about that. They have more athletes. They're a better football team. And they're a better coach. Brian Kelly's not a good football coach. So, Notre Dame, I'll tell you why this should have been in. They didn't play well. They had a bad performance. But if you look at their wins, they have better wins than Ohio State.
No! Well, what?
And...
Whoa.
And...
What are you smoking?
Are you serious? And they did not lose to Purdue by 30.
Okay, they lost to Clemson by 27. I don't know what your point is.
All right, so you look at Purdue and Clemson, really compare those two teams.
Yeah, I mean, you just said because Auburn beat Purdue, they're the greatest team since sliced bread. So,
all right, let's look at Notre Dame.
Are we just going to, all this year, you're saying you still pick Notre Dame?
Yeah,
they beat a Michigan team. They beat a Michigan team, which Ohio State beat by more. They beat Ohio State by 5. They beat Vanderbilt by 5. They beat Wake Forest. They beat Stanford. They beat Virginia Tech. None of these teams are good. I don't think a single one of these teams finished with more than 7 wins. They beat Pitt. They beat Navy. They beat Northwestern, which they beat by more than they did. It doesn't matter how much you beat Syracuse. Their best win is Syracuse.
That's ridiculous. All right. I'm going to tell you why.
their best win is Syracuse without Eric Dungy.
Chris, do not give me. It does not matter how much they win by. Because if that's true, it does not matter how much we lost by to Purdue. All right, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now.
Let's get rid of the playoffs. You go through their schedule. They beat a 10-win Michigan team. They beat
the first game of the year. Okay.
a bowl team in Vanderbilt.
Oh my goodness!
Another bowl team. They beat 6-6.
Another bowl team.
6-6.
Wake Forest. No. Wake Forest.
Before they rescheduled their game. That's absurd.
No, Vanderbilt. Oh yeah, UCF beat Pitt by 35, and they beat them by like 5.
9-win Northwestern.
That just shows UCF should have made the playoff. That's what that shows.
Syracuse. That's a bunch of 2-star athletes that overperformed.
No, Syracuse. Eric Dungy didn't even play. That was.
Let's take a look at Ohio State's schedule here. They beat a barely bowl team, TCU. They beat
TCU is barely a bowl team, but Vanderbilt is a good bowl team.
Penn State, good win. Minnesota bowl team.
Penn State on the road, yeah.
Michigan State bowl team.
On the road, yeah.
Good win against Michigan. Good win against Northwestern. Notre Dame, if you look at the good win, Notre Dame and Ohio State probably about equal.
Can you stop making a fool of yourself? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Ohio State has not beaten the amount of bowl teams that Notre Dame has.
Notre Dame played 8 home games. And 2/3 of their games were at home. And they don't play in a conference.
Notre Dame played 2 true road games the entire year.
UCF didn't lose, Chris. matter to play anybody.
No,
Ohio State,
if we look at common opponents, UCF beat Navy by a lot more than Notre Dame did, and they beat Pitt by a lot more than Notre Dame did.
You look at Ohio State.
Both at home.
By 30, Notre Dame did not lose the game all season. So you have to put Notre Dame in the playoffs.
That's ridiculous. You know what? Michigan State is going to move to the independent and play Furman 12 times just to make the playoff. That's what we're going to do now. Might as well.
They play a great schedule. A great schedule. Did it. Chris, according to the committee structure shit, they have to view BYU and Notre Dame as the same as Power 5 FBS schools. You're telling me if BYU goes undefeated, they should make the playoff. If
BYU plays Hawaii 4 times a year.
Yeah, BYU does not have the schedule Notre Dame does. Notre Dame doesn't have a schedule. They play two They have better wins than Ohio State, and that's the fact.
Chris.
Win Ohio State also doesn't have that Notre Dame has is a Syracuse team who overperformed without Eric Dungy and Syracuse. 2-star recruits. 10 wins.
Ridiculous.
Goodness.
Notre Dame sucks.
All right, so UCF's a good win. They beat a good win Memphis team.
Yep, exactly.
No,
That's a good win.
And they beat Tulane. What a great win over Tulane.
By the way, Mike, they did not play two road games. They played at USC.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The Syracuse game in the Bronx.
No, that is a home game for Notre Dame. There are way more Notre Dame fans there.
Any game that's not at the opponent's school at home game for Notre Dame. At Virginia Tech, it's a tough environment.
Oh, please. Wake Forest can't even sell out half their stadium, let alone their entire stadium.
Notre Dame clearly had better wins, and it's not even remotely close. No, they didn't. They had the same wins that Ohio State had, plus Syracuse, who was garbage. Syracuse had 10 wins, and they played it on the road. They have a bunch of 2-star recruits. It doesn't matter. They had 10 wins.
Listen, Clemson, great team. We'll get to them later. Notre Dame did not deserve to be near this playoff. The only way I would have put Notre Dame in here. Okay, we talk about, the 2015 Michigan State team was the worst team to make the playoff. Well, they deserved to make the playoff because they had a bunch of great wins. At Michigan, at Ohio State, home against Oregon. That team deserved to make the playoff. This team did not deserve to make the playoff. They didn't have any good wins all season.
Notre Dame could win the Mountain West. Better wins than those other teams.
That's ridiculous. Notre Dame didn't play anybody. Give me a break.
Doing stupid shit out of his mouth and hanging up. Better win than any people of them. That's the fact. An absolute fact.
Oh my gosh. Georgia should have made the playoff over them. Oklahoma should have made the playoff over them.
UCF should have made
UCF, Ohio State. We could go on and on. I'd probably put Penn State in the tournament over them. I put anybody. I put Washington State and Washington ahead of them.
And Kentucky. You've got to be kidding.
And Kentucky. I'll put Kentucky ahead of them. Because at least Kentucky beat a good team. At least Kentucky beat a good team this year.
They have 2 top 15 wins. How many top 15 wins does Ohio State have?
No, the ACC doesn't count. The ACC is not a Power 5 conference. They suck.
One top 15 win and They had 2 top 15 wins. Oh, you're right. Never mind. Notre Dame had 2.
All right.
So Ohio State.
Ridiculous.
Well, it doesn't matter. Notre Dame beat more bowl teams.
He's just trying to make excuses
That's not true either.
for his national championship pick, which was a disgusting pick. Notre Dame's defense was overrated and their offense is awful. They got exposed. They had no business being there. Ridiculous. UCF had more business being there than they did.
Oh, come on!
Hey, they won their
Can we
conference.
talk about that again?
Can we please talk about that game?
It might be next. We'll see. Let's move on. Oh, no, this is a Texas. Texas defeats an overrated Georgia team 28-21. Is Texas back?
No.
Yes, Texas is back. Texas is back. Good win for them. I don't know what happened to Georgia. I'm guessing they just didn't want to be there. I don't know why.
Why was Texas playing that game with 4 losses? Was my question.
They won the Big 12. Oh, they were in the Big 12 championship, and they had to play the 4 losses.
I'd rather have Texas in there than a 4-loss West Virginia without Will Greer. So I mean,
yeah. And I'll tell you what, you could see that Texas could win before the game when the mascot attacked the Bulldogs. So
that's pretty funny.
That was jinx for Georgia, and that's why they lost.
Yeah, Georgia was just kind of pissed about the playoffs, so they really didn't want to be there. And they really didn't care.
Ohio State and Notre Dame both be 7 bowl eligible teams. Oh, no, I'm going to count that right now. I just counted it. I'm doing it right now. And Virginia Tech is not a bowl eligible team. Yes, they were. They played the bowl game, guys.
and they lost.
No, they rescheduled games to become bowl eligible. Yeah, because they got canceled. No, false. True. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for Notre Dame. Nope, 7 for Notre Dame. You're not including Virginia Tech. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
But remember, Ohio State played 2 tough teams: Oregon State and Rutgers. So you got to count those, especially Oregon State.
For Ohio State.
Oregon State, the battle for the OSU. That's a big win. I don't care what anybody says. The battle for the OSU. That was a big win over Oregon State.
Ohio State. Only 7.
Yeah, that's because Ohio State plays in a conference. Notre Dame gets to schedule these fringe bowl teams in the ACC. You know what Notre Dame does? We're going to schedule fringe bowl teams every year. Yeah, give us Wake Forest. Give us Georgia Tech. Give us Virginia Tech. Might as well give us Virginia, yeah. Yeah, give us Syracuse. Yeah, and then they'll...
How about Stanford, who was ranked number 8 at the time?
Give us Pitt, and then we'll beat Pitt by 5. I mean, give me a break.
How about Stanford, who was ranked number 7 at the time?
Oh, no, come on. We're not going to use that argument, are we? Seriously?
Luke uses all that. TCU is ranked 15. If we're going to use that, we get the TCU win. Okay, we get the Virginia Tech win. Oh, no. Virginia Tech
lost to Old Dominion. Give me a break. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Anyway, Texas they might be back, but Oklahoma's still better than them. So, I mean, they'll be the second fiddle. They'll be the second fiddle to Oklahoma next year. And I've got Oklahoma State being better than them next year, too. Mike Gundy owns Texas, so, I mean, we'll see what happens. Are we good with this topic?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we've already had this argument a lot, but did the committee get the playoff right?
No. Next topic. No. I'm not arguing with Chris.
Okay. Yeah, next topic. Who wins the national championship and why?
Whoa. We did not talk about the UCF.
Okay, fine. I don't even know if I put the slide in, but we can talk about that right now then.
Alex, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
No. You're super excited. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm very excited. You're right. All right, so I know Alex, Mike, and Luke are all going to come out with the excuse that Mackenzie Milton didn't play. Obviously, that played a big factor, but you know what else played a big factor is 10 defensive starters and 12 players out on defense for LSU. So I think that cancels out. There's no excuses for either team.
Well, guess what? I don't care. How about that? I don't care. UCF would have won if Milton played. I don't care what you say.
This is a fake close game. LSU should have won this game by 3 touchdowns. LSU tripled UCF's yards. UCF got a garbage touchdown and a pick 6. So LSU blew the door. Okay. And Ohio State should have been beat Purdue, so therefore we should be in the playoffs. What? That doesn't make any sense. Ohio State should have beat Purdue.
And guess what? You know what, Chris? Michigan State should have beaten Arizona. We should have beaten Arizona State. We should have beaten Northwestern. We should have beaten Michigan, and we should have beaten Ohio State. And we should have beaten Oregon. We should be undefeated right now. We choked every one of those games away.
They had a couple common games, and UCF won by more against the
Alex,
same
how about
opponents.
the fact that your team just got tripled by LSU? Triple in yards.
That doesn't matter.
UCF had a quarterback that couldn't throw the football.
All backups out there. They had all backups like defense.
He had wide open receivers and he couldn't hit them. Wide open receivers.
UCF should not be in the rankings to finish the season. They suck.
The quarterback is the most important position on
Rutgers
the
should have beat
field.
Ohio State. Rutgers should have beat Kansas. Rutgers should have beat Buffalo. Rutgers should have beat Indiana. Rutgers should have beat Illinois. Rutgers should have beat Maryland. Rutgers should have beat Northwestern.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Rutgers should have beat Penn State. Rutgers should have beat Michigan State.
Well, they
Rutgers
should.
should be in the Big Ten championship, and
Well-
they should have been in the playoff. By Christmas.
Rutgers actually should have beaten us. Rutgers actually should have beaten us.
All I'm saying is the score shows that it was closer than it actually was.
The fact that UCF put up 30 points without a quarterback just proves how good they are. How about that? How about that?
Yep.
Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! Joe
He
Burrow!
got laid out on that pick six. Not going to talk
Joe
about that.
Burrow! And he came back to beat crappy UCF.
Imagine if Joe Burrow stayed at Ohio State. We would have had a QB between Justin Fields, Joe Burrow, Tate Martell, and Dwayne Haskins. That's 4 better quarterbacks than Michigan has ever had. That's right.
Let's have
We
LSU
have
play
them
with
one
their backup
year.
quarterback. No. Let's have LSU play with their backup quarterback and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow. Joe
okay,
Burrow.
so you going to
Joe
start
Burrow.
the
Joe Burrow.
12 defensive players back in LSU's defense, too?
Sure.
Okay, LSU wins the game by 50 points.
No,
That's just not true.
Forget it. Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. He hasn't played anybody all year.
Chris, here's my point. Those LSU starters would have sat out no matter who played quarterback for UCF. My point is, if Mackenzie Milton wasn't injured, he would have played and UCF would have won. That's my point.
That's not true.
That
That's
is
not true.
absolutely true. If
No, it's
Mackenzie
not.
Milton played and the LSU starters sat, UCF would be the national champions right now. That's my point.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Joe
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Shut the hell up. I was in the airport and I saw some guy with a Joe Burrow shirt on.
Joe Burrow.
With
Joe
like-
Burrow.
with like the
Joe
O-
Burrow.
It had the OUX at the end.
Yeah, I gotta get myself one of those.
All right, are we done? Are we done with that? Who wins the national championship and why?
It is tough.
I'll go first. Give me Clemson. Clemson's a better football team. They're more veteran. They know what they're doing. Trevor Lawrence is better than Tua. I don't care what anybody says. He's better. I love how he plays. Better running game than Bama. And Bama's defense got a little bit exposed in the second half. Well, as Chris would say. So, give me Clemson. Give me Clemson.
Right.
What?
Is this the last thing, or did you add the hot take section?
No, there are like 4 more things.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with Alabama because Clemson's missing 2 of their D tackles because of the suspension. Christian Wilkins and I forget the other guy.
I'm taking Clemson because they're good.
Clemson's a better football team.
I'm taking Clemson because Tigers eat elephants.
I was really going to take Clemson in this game, but the bottom line is, I think Tua's going to struggle in the first half, and Jalen Hurts is going to come to the rescue and bring Alabama a title.
Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get hurt and Chase Bryce is going to come in and take Clemson to a national championship. Or Kelly Bryant's going to come back.
Nope.
Or are we good? Are we good with this?
Yes.
All right. Power 6 bowl records. The Big 12 at 4-3, number 1. Big 10 at 5-4, number 2. SEC at 6-5, number 3. ACC at 5-5. Pac-12 went 3-4. and the American Athletic went 2-5.
Oh, surprising!
How about so?
Not a power-
Does this mean the
not a
big?
power team, not a power conference.
Does this mean the Big 12 is the best Power 5 conference?
No.
No.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Where's the Mountain West? Why was that in there?
Oh well, we don't talk about the Mountain West because they don't schedule good enough bowl games because they get screwed. They have to play a bunch of Conference USA teams. It's ridiculous. Utah State had to play North Texas.
Good team.
Ridiculous.
North Texas is good.
Anyways, the Big 12 is the best conference.
The Big 12 is the best conference, and they are, but they don't. They're the best overall conference, but they don't have the best teams. Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, West Virginia. I mean, come on now.
I think this conference is trending to be the best conference. You look at who they've got. Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, you know they're going to be consistent. Oklahoma's always great. Texas is coming around. TCU's got Gary Patterson. Matt Rule at Baylor, he's turning them around. Texas Tech, what's his name, Matt Wells, he's going to do a great job there. West Virginia's going to turn into Kansas. They suck. But Kansas is going to be good. They've got a national championship coach. Kansas State has a 5-time national championship coach. I think the Big 12 might be the best conference in a couple years.
The SEC is the best conference, and it's not even close.
Oh, why were they number 3 in bowl record then?
That bowl record doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does. No, you only say that because Michigan ruined the Big Ten's bowl record last year.
Bunch of meaningless bowl games, that's right.
Oh, okay then. That's ridiculous. Are we good with this?
Yeah.
All right. Any hot takes? I don't care what they're about. Just say them.
I have a hot take.
Okay.
What is it?
Brady Hoke was a better coach at Michigan than Jim Harbaugh.
Can't argue.
Okay.
Agreed.
Brady Hoke has a New Year's Six bowl win, and Jim Harbaugh doesn't.
That's right.
What about you?
That's my hot take.
What's your bowl? What's your hot take?
Who?
Anybody? Just say your hot take.
Chris said his hot take for later.
Oh, yes, I have my hot take. Not only will Kelly Bryant lead his Missouri Tigers to the playoffs, Kelly Bryant will lead Missouri to a national title.
That's terrible. That's awful.
By the way, Mike, I've decided I have 2 quarterbacks next year. The other one is Alan Bowman.
No, Matt Wells will demote him from the starting job.
Wait, is this for like next year?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, sure, for next year. I mean, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, Iowa State will win the Big 12. That's my other hot take.
Well, you stole mine, Luke. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll do mine. Jim Harbaugh's a better coach than John Beeline. That's my hot take. Here, my reason why is just to piss Chris off. Listen, if you look at the revenue, Jim Harbaugh brings in more revenue than John Beeline, meaning he's a better coach.
I'm not entertaining you.
And more fans go to their games than the basketball games, just proving he's a better coach.
Not
Next season, Virginia is going to be in the ACC championship.
That's not bad. Not bad. I mean, they'll beat Miami for sure.
No,
what they
Miami's
have?
nasty.
8 wins this year?
Bronco Mendenhall, that's your guy, Mike.
Yep, he mows his own grass. That just proves he's a great coach.
I predicted Virginia to go 8-4 this year, and you guys laughed at me.
I'm still laughing at you because that was still a terrible prediction. I don't care what anybody says.
We were doing those predictions before the year, and I predicted Virginia and UNC to go 8-4.
Virginia might be the worst 9-4 team in the history of college football. I don't care what anybody says. They are so bad.
I have Virginia 8-4, beating Richmond, Ohio, NC State, Miami, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And they beat South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, you got to give Luke and I credit. We both had North Carolina at 8-4 too.
My gosh. All right, let's move on. Who wins the Big Ten West in 2019?
Who cares?
Well, I'm tempted to go with Wisconsin because they lose that awful quarterback, Brook.
No, he's going to be a senior next year.
You're kidding me.
I'm serious. It'll be him and Jack Cohn for the starting job. They'll be battling it out.
For 30 years.
Nope.
But I'm going to go with Iowa.
Okay, then.
Stanley, second best quarterback in the
I'm
college.
shocked you didn't pick Illinois.
Illinois is a good team. They're going to be right up there, going 7-5 with Lovie Smith. Program's on the upswing.
Oh, yes. Minnesota. Row the boat.
Oh, come on.
Okay, the Big Ten West is won by a different team every year. Sometimes it's Wisconsin.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm going to go with Purdue. Purdue is going to win the Big Ten West next year.
I honestly think every team except for Illinois has a shot.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious. I'm not.
Nebraska's going to win it. Nebraska.
Yep, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I really like Northwestern. I really like Northwestern with Hunter Johnson at quarterback. I think that'll be an upgrade. Hunter Johnson might be the best quarterback in the Big Ten next year. We'll see.
Mike, they're the same Nebraska's going to be ranked ahead of Michigan State to start the year.
Yeah, I don't care. Nebraska's defense is still not very good. Their offense might take a step in the right direction. Because Alex picked Minnesota, actually, I'll go with Minnesota. Minnesota row the boat to 11-1. All right. Who wins the Big Ten East next year?
Ohio State.
Alex.
What was the question here?
Who wins the Big Ten East?
Next year?
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Well, Ohio State's going to be in the hunt, but I got to take Michigan State here. I'll explain later. All right. Who wins the Big Ten in 2019?
Ohio State.
Yep.
Michigan State wins the Big Ten in 2019. All right. Early 2019 playoff picks. Who is your playoff picks for 2019?
I'm going with Clemson, number 1. I'm going Missouri, number 2. Texas, number 3. And Alabama, number 4.
That's terrible. Does this have to be in order?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
I'm going to go with Bama, Clemson, LSU, 2 out of the SEC, and then Washington.
Wait, so Chris, what was Chris's pick? Did you have Ohio State in there?
No.
Oh, of course you didn't.
No, because they're going to lose to Indiana by 30.
So?
Yeah, your beloved Tom Allen.
No, they'll lose at Nebraska.
I'm taking Ohio, in no particular order, Ohio State, Alabama. No, not Alabama. Clemson and LSU.
Who's the second team?
Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson, and LSU.
Okay.
Those are good picks. I was tempted to take Texas A&M to win the SEC. But
They got a good shot.
well, I really like Texas A&M, but I think Alabama will find a way to win the East. The winner of the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama again, although I think Florida will be a good team. I'm gonna take Alabama number 1. I'm gonna take Clemson number 2. I'm gonna take Washington number 3. I'm gonna take Michigan State number 4. Those are my playoff picks. Oklahoma. Iowa State upsets Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game to get Michigan State in there.
So solid 76 team making the playoff.
Listen, championship level defense. All we need is a decent offense. We're bringing a 5-star left tackle. That's where we really struggled. Pass protection and running the football. We signed the best offensive line class we've had in 10 years. Although it may not show early, I think we'll be much improved on the offensive end, and I think our defense will be better next year. We got a 4-star cornerback, Julian Barnett, to replace Justin Lane on the outside. Josiah Scott, who won the Red Box Bowl Defensive Player of the Game, despite being on the losing team, is back. Kenny Willekes is back. Bocce is back. Roquan Williams is back. And Brian the Workie will be healthy. And all we need to be is a top 75 offense, and we're making the playoff next year. Because guess what? Well, remember the last time we went 7-6? We made the Rose Bowl the year later, so that's why I'm picking Michigan State. It's easy. And everybody's going to be sleeping on us next year, but don't you dare sleep on us, because Mark D'Antonio has got his revenge tour ready. It starts against Arizona State week 3 at home. We'll win 20-0. Big game.
Guess what? Like,
Put in the clip of Stephen A. saying stay off the weed.
Listen, you can't tell me that we won't have the best defense in America next year.
Okay?
And you said don't sleep.
I'm saying,
I'm sound
the best
asleep.
defense in America.
What?
Boston College had the best defense in America a couple years ago.
Well, we returned 9 out of 11 starters on that side from the most dominant defense of the Big Ten. We can only get better.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does. And our offense is going to get a lot better next year. That's what I'm predicting.
Michigan had the best defense going into the
No, they don't.
Michigan,
They gave up 62 to Ohio State. Their defense sucks.
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean anything. Best defense doesn't mean anything.
But our defense shows up in big games, and Michigan's defense doesn't. That's my point.
They don't show up in the fourth quarters of games.
We have 10 offensive points to Ohio State, by far their lowest offensive output of the season.
Yeah, and you choked in the fourth quarter.
No, our offense gave them 3 touchdowns at the end.
Doesn't matter, your defense choked. You should have let up field goals.
Yeah, our offense shouldn't have ran a freaking reverse in the end zone. A reverse in the end zone that was fumbled and recovered for a touchdown. Guess what? If we had a semblance of an offense,
Tap the ball out of bounds.
we would have won. We would be in the playoff this year if we had a semblance of an offense. So that's what I'm saying next year. We're going to the playoff. You can't convince me otherwise. Best defense in America with an average offense. Just like 2013. All over again. Playoff. National championship. Might as well go all in. We're winning the national championship next year.
Stay off the weed.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that much of a hot take. I mean, Missouri, that's way more of a hot take than Michigan State. Give me a break. All right. Anything else to say?
Nope.
All right, that'll be it for this episode of the Big Four podcast. We will see you next time on the Basketball Podcast.